I just feel like it was such a waste of time for the judge. I just like I don't want to say
no matter what, but still she got to be like, well, hey guys, what did you hire me for?
Yeah, count me out of the next case. You know, if you don't, exactly. and I don't mean that joking around. I'm just saying, like, there was people that valued her opinion in this whole process and valued what she was going to say, and just to completely disregard it and be like, well, hey, that was never going to be good enough. And I think it was reactionary. I mean, there was going to be part of that, but
so I think what you have to look at too is for this appeal. Now, in theory, who knows if they'll follow us, because now it's in their hands. They can essentially do whatever the hell they want. But the appeal isn't based on the social media circus and the news circus of 24 or 30. It's still only based on what was said in the 3-day hearing. It's still only based on 4 cases. So she already said that they don't have grounds to suspend for a full season. That was her ruling. Now, she said they're a private organization. Essentially, they can do whatever they want. But in her opinion, which is why they hired her, they don't have grounds to do that. So then if they're now looking at the case as it was presented to the judge, and it's only 4 of them, not 30, and they're not violent, then what is going to be then their grounds for going longer than what she, I'm looking forward to seeing if they go longer. I've heard, Justin has heard they're going indefinite. I've seen indefinite.
Schefter's reporting indefinite.
I've heard 12 games with a huge fine. I've heard they're going to try to push it into next year to affect his salary, all kinds of stuff. I want to hear what's their ruling behind it. You know what I mean? And people will say, the reasoning is because he was accused by so many. I get that. But that's not what this is based on. You have to have some kind of confines and structure to this, and it is based on 4. And it is based on what was said in the 3-day trial. Mm-hmm. So then what can your grounds be for extending it? A judge who was a judge for 25 years that you hired who is an expert in this stuff said no, 6. So then how can you turn around and make it longer and then have any kind of validity to your reasonings?
I think it's interesting that, I'll just read a piece out of her report that we wanted to mention here. She wrote, Mr. Watson is hereby suspended for 6 regular season games without pay. This is the most significant punishment ever imposed on an NFL player for allegations of non-violent sexual conduct. So he's already getting the most severe punishment anyone in the NFL has ever received for this kind of thing.
Yes.
So now they want to make it more? You know what I mean? Like, what happens?
So this is where, and this is on the NFL with this whole situation. The NFL has had a history where, regardless of what the punishment hasn't matched up. If whether you're saying this isn't enough or this isn't fair or whatever, I thought at the end of this year the NFL was going to roll out like basically a playbook of, hey, if you get caught doing something along the lines of what Deshaun Watson just got accused of, you will be suspended for a year, something like that. So for me, I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like it just kind of, they just said, hey, we don't care. Everything's off the table. And whether you agree or disagree on whether it's severe or not.
That's not the point here. Yeah. The point is the process.
Right.
You're supposed to be following some sort of process.
That's out the window. Obviously. I think that's you.
Well, in her report, she even says here the NFL is attempting to impose a more dramatic shift in its culture without the benefit of fair notice to and consistency of consequence for those in the NFL subject to the policy. So this wasn't the punishment before he committed these, what the NFL said he did.
Right.
If the standard was a year-long suspension, even as Browns fans, we wouldn't be complaining about a year-long suspension, but it's not the standard.
Right.
They're just winging it.
And before this, I believe we talked about this, right? It was 3 games, right? It was the most ever for non-violent sexual misconduct.
I don't know that for sure. I don't want to just,
I'm pretty sure it's what she wrote in the report because I think the 6th game is actually double.
Yeah. And I saw people saying that.
Yeah.
And to John's point, when he said about the standard, people will say, well, nobody's ever been accused of 24. Again, it's the confines of the hearing. It's 4. It's not 24.
Right.
So I get your point in what you're saying, and you might be right, but at the end of the day, that is not supposed to matter in this situation. Now, whether you want to say morality, right, wrong, but that's not what we're here to decide. It's the process, and it's 4. So that's just why she was hired, because we're supposed to be getting away from just willy-nilly whatevers, that the NFL does.
Yeah. And John, it's a good point. I mean, just as a quick side note, it's like when Josh Gordon kept getting suspended for testing positive for marijuana, like, we may not have agreed that, he should be kicked out of the league for smoking marijuana, but that was the standard. So as a Browns fan, you can complain about Josh Gordon doing something stupid, but at the same time, we can't complain about the punishment because that's what we knew the punishment was.
They were upholding a policy. They weren't making a new policy every time he got caught.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it'd have been like if he got caught smoking weed and they were like, 3-year suspension now.
Yeah.
But the standard was 6 games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but he's done it a couple times now, so it's 3 years. Like,
I mean, it turned into that.
Yeah, but that was the standard.
Right. Yeah. I know what you're saying.
There was a process for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just crazy. And what's kind of crazy to me? So I was thinking about this. Roger Goodell suspended Dante Stallworth for 1 season.
For killing somebody.
He literally killed somebody.
Yeah, I remember that.
He killed somebody.
Yep.
And he got a 1-season suspension. And you can say 24, 4, whatever. He didn't kill anybody.
Nope, he did not.
So how can that's the problem. That's why this lady was brought in to do this, because there has to be some kind of system in place, some kind of standards and rules. You can't kill somebody and get a year and then be allegedly accused of something and get a year.
Right. Stallworth didn't allegedly kill somebody.
He killed
somebody.
Yeah. So that's why she was hired. So I just don't understand why waste people's time with that if we're just back to where we were 6 months ago before it all started. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. And it's just because they're just trying to, it's just like I said, it's the Ray Rice all over again. They went with this until people were outraged, and then they went harder. I guarantee you, this is why it took 2 days for them to decide. They're turning on ESPN, NFL Network, Fox, trying to gauge what people were saying. And they're like, well, there's more people mad than there's not. So we're going to appeal now. That's all. That's what it is.
Yeah, the public mob. Browns fans, we just want to take a quick break in the action to remind you about DraftKings. DraftKings changed the fantasy game forever in 2012. Now, 10 years later, they're doing it again with Rainmakers Football, their first ever NFT fantasy game. A new way to enjoy daily fantasy football, a new shot to win millions in prizes, and the only NFT fantasy game licensed by the NFLPA. Playing Rainmakers Football is simple. Buy, sell, bid, and win player cards of the biggest names in the game through regular drops and auctions. Build your collection of football stars and enter free Rainmaker football contests all season long to compete for millions in jaw-dropping prizes. Each week, craft your lineups of athletes from your NFT collection and rack up points for touchdowns, receptions, and more, just like you would in daily fantasy football. The next generation of fantasy sports is almost here. Download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app now. Sign up with promo code TPPN. Click the Rainmakers title and opt in so you can be ready for the next drop. Play free for millions in prizes all football season and build the ultimate NFT fantasy franchise with Rainmakers Football. That's promo code TPPN only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.